Life is full of surprises. Some are fun, like a birthday party. Others are stressful, like a sudden car repair, a medical bill, or a job loss. Without savings, even a small financial shock can set you back. And if it turns into debt, it can have a lasting impact. That's why financial experts recommend an emergency fund. But the idea of saving 3 to 6 months of expenses can feel overwhelming, especially if you're starting from zero. In the next 8 minutes, I'll show you exactly how to build an emergency fund in just 3 months, even on a tight budget. First, let's talk about what an emergency fund actually is. An emergency fund is money set aside specifically for unexpected, necessary expenses. A job loss, a medical bill, a car repair, a broken appliance, or a home repair. It is not a vacation fund. It is not a down payment fund. It is a financial cushion that keeps a bad surprise from becoming a financial crisis. Without one, an unexpected $1,000 expense often goes on a credit card, beginning a cycle of high-interest debt that's harder to escape than most people expect. The emergency fund breaks that pattern before it starts.
So, how much do you actually need? The standard guideline is 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. That means the amount you'd need to cover rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, and minimum debt payments, the non-negotiable costs, if your income disappeared. If you have a stable job and a steady income, aim for 3 months. If you're self-employed, have a variable income, or have dependents, aim for 6 months. But if you're just starting out, don't be intimidated by the full number. A starter emergency fund of $1,000 is meaningful protection while you build toward the full amount. Now, let's break down the 3-month plan. Month 1 is about assessment and automation. Start by calculating your monthly essential expenses. Write down how much you spend on housing, utilities, food, transportation, and insurance. Multiply that number by 3. That's your target. For example, if your monthly essentials are $3,000, your 3-month target is $9,000. Next, set up a dedicated savings account, ideally a high-yield savings account at an online bank. This keeps your emergency fund separate from your everyday checking and earns interest while it sits. Then set up an automatic transfer from your checking to your emergency fund on payday or the day after to make sure the paycheck clears. Automation is the key to building the habit without having to make a decision every time.
Month 2 is about cutting costs and finding extra money. The fastest way to accelerate your savings is to temporarily reduce your spending. Identify one discretionary expense, a subscription, a weekly habit, a convenience service, and redirect that amount to your emergency fund for 90 days. Cut down on dining out, suspend some streaming services, or plan a staycation instead of pricey travel. Every dollar you redirect is a dollar closer to your goal. If you have a side hustle or some extra time, consider freelance work or selling items you no longer need. A garage sale or online selling can make a sizable dent in funding your reserve. And don't forget about windfalls, tax refunds, work bonuses, birthday money, or rebates. When unexpected money arrives, send a portion directly to your emergency fund before it mixes with everyday spending. Month 3 is about staying consistent and celebrating progress. By now, you've built the habit. Continue your automatic transfers. Use a simple rule. Every time you get paid, transfer something, even if it's just $25. If you're able to spare more, save up to 20% of your monthly income to build your fund sooner. And remember, small steps still count. Even $25 per paycheck is $650 in a year. Consistency matters more than the amount.
Now, let's talk about where to keep your emergency fund. It should be safe and accessible, but not too tempting. A high-yield savings account is the best option for most people. It's FDIC insured, earns more interest than a standard savings account, and transfers to your checking account in 1 to 3 business days. Do not keep your emergency fund in the stock market. You may need it exactly when the market is down, and a 30% drop right before an emergency is the worst possible outcome. And be careful with certificates of deposit. If they have early withdrawal penalties, they defeat the purpose. One more thing. Your emergency fund is not for vacations, holiday gifts, or planned car maintenance. Those go in a separate sinking fund, money set aside in advance for predictable future expenses. The emergency fund is only for genuine emergencies, unexpected, necessary, and urgent.
To summarize, build an emergency fund in 3 months by calculating your target, automating your savings, cutting temporary expenses, using windfalls, and staying consistent. If $9,000 feels impossible, start with $1,000. That alone covers the most common emergencies: a car repair, an appliance replacement, an unexpected medical copay, without forcing you onto a credit card. Once you reach $1,000, keep going. 1 month of expenses, then 3 months. Each milestone is useful on its own. Your action plan for today? Open a separate high-yield savings account if you don't have one. Set up an automatic transfer of whatever you can afford, even $25, and identify one expense to cut for the next 90 days. That's the first step toward 3 months of peace of mind. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more practical money guides.